When can we expect to see an infrastructure plan from the administration, and is it going to have to wait in line behind health and taxes?
The timing of the process is still a little bit up in the air. I mean, as I think people here have read, we talked initially in the plan was healthcare, tax reform, infrastructure. Then there was some comment of should we add infrastructure to other bills to help improve kind of the passability of those bills, because pretty much that is the infrastructure is one of the most important and sort of most popular things we're doing right now. If you go out into the public and talk about things the Trump administration is doing, infrastructure ranks very, very high in public opinion. And as sort of demonstrated by this panel, it's very bipartisan. It's a federal, state, local initiative. So there are lots of sort of good things that come with infrastructure. So the timing of that ultimately is going to be determined by, is it standalone? Does it move with something else? And then, as you know, there are vagaries of the Senate process that might require us to move as part of something else as well.
So, Rahm, you talked to President Trump directly about this topic during the transition. You've got a lot of infrastructure initiatives going in Chicago. What did you tell him about what you've learned and what you think the federal approach ought to be?
Well, I think there's a number of things. One is you can't kind of do it there's not one trick pony here. It does require new revenue. There is a place for P3s, public-private partnerships. There's an effort that I think is about where I think the federal government can incentivize with some down payment, local share putting some more skin in the game and not asking the feds to basically do their work. And I gave examples. So end result, we have one of the largest infrastructure projects going in, about $8 billion in our mass transit, also in our aviation system, and the largest infrastructure project of any city on its water replacement. 900 miles, everything 100 years older, water or sewer, gets replaced in the next 10 years. Two largest water filtration plants will be totally rebuilt. Two largest water filtration plants in the world, totally rebuilt. And the mass transit, half the rail lines will be rebuilt. Every bus and train by 2019 will be new, and 40% of the stations will be totally rebuilt or totally new. First system also to go 4G. Now, we've used different revenue sources. The federal government has two great programs called TIFIA and RIF. Later on, I'll talk more about that word, but they require us to pony up, but it's an incentive, and I think that's where the federal government can be kind of a down payment with the local partnership. Second is on the water project, if we did this kind of piecemeal, we'd get there in 2054. I passed it 50-0, we raised rates, and we've put 18,000 people to work in a decade period of time, replacing 900 miles of water line, 670 miles of sewer line, 167,000 catch basins, and two of the largest water filtration plants in the world. And you're going to need an assessment. I think the two best federal programs are TIFIA and RIF. I think they should be expanded, make more robust. But you're not going to get there on the cheap, and not to be critical or insulting, but you can't do it on tax credits. You're going to have to be honest with people. It takes money to do this. When we built schools and roads in Afghanistan and Iraq, we didn't do it on tax credits. And that can't be done here. There's a partnership, public and private. There's revenue. There's reforms to be made to the process. But you got to be upfront with public, and I believe the public will pay if they know they're getting something new and better. They will not pay for old.